out that fire that you can see burning, and it doesn't seem like any pursuit of that gunfire. And those cars in the distance are actually right around where the gunshots have come from. We don't know who is firing or what the target is, whether they're firing in the air or at human beings, Shepard.
Well, as we continue to listen to those shots, we're getting
more shots right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shots right now. So something we didn't see in August. This was not a part of the protest back then. 3 months later, obviously, some violent groups have organized and are trying to ride on the coattails of these demonstrations. We're hearing steady gunfire now. More than 100 shots fired in Ferguson. We don't know who's behind it, Shepard.
We're going to stay with you, Steve. We see this, what looks like a convoy of vehicles.
Yeah, I'm just sort of peeping out from behind the corner of the building, so I can't give you too much intelligence on that, Shepard.
Well, I'll just watch the video as it comes in. We can see the large building.
Stay on it, Dutch.
Dutch Wargo is the cameraman. And make no mistake, these two men have been in war zones across this world. And I don't think they've gone into an area expecting where they got so much more than they really were expecting. Did we believe that there would be some sort of demonstrations tonight? We did, but authorities had led us to believe that they had done what was necessary to keep this from happening. Maybe it wasn't possible to keep this from happening, but Steve, it's a lot more than I would have expected.
It is. I didn't think it would happen because of just the cold weather. I thought that would keep the protesters away, and we are not seeing a lot of protesters out on the streets now, but we are seeing the violence with the flames, and we continue to hear gunshots probably about a quarter to a half mile down the street, regular, and you know, within every 2 or 3 minutes we're hearing more shots fired.
We don't have any reports of anyone being hit.
No reports of any casualties at this point.
And you mentioned there were gunshots coming from multiple directions, which you suggested might be shots fired and fire returned.
That's what it seemed like to me, like people were firing at each other, but I can't back that up.
No, I hear you. I just wonder if there's not, you know, and that's more there, isn't it?
That is more. Pop, pop, pop. We've heard over 100 gunshots in the last half hour.
When this sort of thing went down in August, Steve, we certainly didn't see shots of this in this number, but when the violence did ratchet up, we almost invariably saw a column of police come in and act in some way to try to fix it. I don't see that.
No, it might be because the nature of the problem is different now. It's not someone throwing a water bottle or a stone. It's buildings on fire and shots being fired. So it seems to be, there's another shot. Man, I just really don't understand why all those cars are driving around in a place where gunshots are coming from. I don't understand why this police line is not moving forward. I don't understand why this has gone on for half an hour without any sense that someone's trying to interrupt it.
Who's in charge?
I don't know who's in charge.
Well, we know St. Louis County Police were supposed to be, because they took the charge, if you will, away from the Ferguson police.
St. Louis County Police is in charge. There's also FBI agents on the ground. There's also National Guard, which has been activated. But if you're asking who's in charge on this street, no one's in charge on the street. There's buildings on fire, there's shots being fired, there was looting, and there's, 40 police standing in the middle of the road.
I lived in Miami Beach for a while, and in Miami itself, and a lot of times on New Year's Eve, Noche Buena, you fire shots into the air in celebration. We can hope that these shots are being fired into the air. We have no reports from hospitals of anyone having been shot, but I don't know what that means even.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like celebratory gunfire. It feels like there's been some back and forth, and now it's coming from multiple directions. We're hearing it off to our left now. So there's we've read stories about people arming up for possible trouble, but there is certainly a lot of gunfire going off in multiple directions.
Steve, while you and your team get organized a little bit and make sure you're safe over there, I want to go to St. Louis, where we've been showing you these reporters, these live chopper shots up and down an area near Interstate 44 and Grand Avenue. It has spread and the crowds are growing. And Nicholas Pister is a reporter for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch newspaper. He's near St. Louis University, where protesters have shut down the interstate there. Nicholas, what are you seeing?
I'm just seeing a lot of people who have lined the interstate. The police have moved them down Grand Boulevard, which is a major street in the city of St. Louis. I got to tell you, it's quite surprising to see such a large group of people actually be able to shut down a major interstate in this country. Interstate 44 rips out right through the southwest into St. Louis. And I've never seen anything like it before. I've been around here before. There are a lot of people. I don't even know, hundreds, probably close to 500 people have dispersed down Grand Boulevard. I can't see if the interstate is actually still shut down. I know traffic is not moving in that area. You see big tractor trailers who are just stopped completely.
Yeah, we can see that on Grand Avenue, and it stretches for blocks and blocks in both directions. And last we saw, Interstate 44 had been shut down for a long time. And, Nicholas, it's my understanding all they did was just go stand out in the middle of the road and make the cars stop, and there was nothing police could do.
Yeah, the crowd is so big and was so big that the police, I believe, just wouldn't have the numbers to do it. They have been able to disperse quite a few of them down the road, but, you know, some people have started throwing rocks and bottles at the police, which obviously, of course, can escalate. So far, the police have been pretty restrained right now, but the emotions are really pretty high right now here in St. Louis.
They are. I'm reading from your newspaper and the cover at stltoday.com. They report that these enormous crowds have come out and blocked the roadways, just as we've been saying. And we're seeing similar crowds in cities across the nation. In fact, from our own internal communications files here, I know that there are protests happening right now in Seattle, in Chicago, in the Oakland, San Francisco area. We have live pictures coming to us from Los Angeles, protests at Wilshire and La Brea in Los Angeles, walking La Brea and shutting down those areas. Large protests in 7th Avenue in New York City and in Union Square in New York City. And continuing with the gunfire in Ferguson, Missouri, Steve Harrigan and his cameraman are out and about now. It appears that the police are making moves, Steve.
That's right, Dutch. That's right. They're moving backwards, as a matter of fact, and I can show you some of the aftermath here, Shepard. Dutch, can you come over here for a sec?
Get that organized. I'm going to hand off to Megan Kelly as our live coverage continues on Fox News Channel. We'll be with you all night long.
Breaking tonight, an increasingly ugly scene in Ferguson, Missouri. Violence breaking out after a grand jury decides it will not indict police officer Darren Wilson for the shooting death of 18-year-old Michael Brown. The officer is white. The 18-year-old was black. Welcome to a live midnight edition of the Kelly File, everyone. I'm Megan Kelly. Over the past few hours, we have witnessed a series of disturbing scenes play out on the streets of Missouri. Our crews witnessing shots being fired, windows being smashed, stores being looted. A police car torched. Look at that. Smoke deployed in an attempt to break up the crowds. Even a Fox News camera smashed onto the ground. And now the anger appears to be spreading. From coast to coast, we are now seeing angry crowds gathering. Take a look here in New York City. Protesters in Times Square chanting, "We are doing this for Mike Brown." One man in the mix dragged out of the crowd, bloodied. Large crowds also marching through the streets of Philadelphia tonight. It all comes just hours after President Obama acknowledges emotions are running high while also appealing for calm. And the very moment he says that is the very moment violence really starts to erupt in Ferguson. Watch this.
There are issues in which the law too often feels as if it is being applied in a discriminatory fashion. I don't think that's the norm. I don't think that's true for the majority of communities or the vast majority of law enforcement officials, but these are real issues. And we have to lift them up and not deny them.